Hello and welcome back. My name is Mary Van Dyke. I am the owner of Finding Grandpa. It's a professional genealogical research service. This video is going to talk about when to use alternate versus preferred for someone's event in their life. When you load a record to a person, you have the choice of using alternate or preferred. Now, this Harriet Soper actually has two birth events in her life. The first one says she was born about 1806 in Ware Town, Ocean County, New Jersey. The alternate birth event says about 1804 in Ware Town, Ocean County, New Jersey. I'm about to show you, if I load the New Jersey Death and Burial Index record to her, what happens and when I should choose an alternate event. The New Jersey Death and Burial Index record for Ancestry's database displays in the center of my screen. It says her name is Harriet Camburn. Her birth date is about 1804. She was born in the United States. Her death date is 7 November 1888, and it says she died in Dover, which is in Ocean County, New Jersey. Her death age is 84 years, 4 months. This looks like the right Harriet. I'm going to go ahead and save this record to her. As soon as I click the Save button, this is the screen I see. Across the top is the information from my tree, which is displayed on the right side of the screen. The information on the left side is the information from the New Jersey Deaths and Burials Index, from the record. I could stop right here and just simply save to my tree without clicking any of the boxes down the left side. It will attach the record to her. It will also cite the source for her name and her birth and her death, because Ancestry automatically checked these boxes for me. So I don't have to actually check any boxes down the left side. This record will attach to her, and if I clicked on her name or her birth event or her death event on her profile page, it will link to this particular record. If I choose, I can check a box on the left side. As soon as I check that box, the default option that Ancestry has is the preferred birth date. If the preferred birth date is used, then notice on the right where the arrow is, the information in my tree used to say about 1806. Now it's overridden in the white box next to date on the right side, saying about 1804. So as soon as I check a box, it will override the information in my tree. However, I could choose to create an alternate birth event. As soon as I click that button, I also clicked the question mark next to it, to the immediate right of the word alternate. It says, this fact is already in your tree, meaning Harriet already has a birth event loaded to my tree. I'm going to click alternate to add the info as an additional fact, or click preferred to add the information as a default fact. If I select alternate, then on her profile page, I end up with an alternate birth event. In this particular case, I would not recommend an alternate fact to be loaded. Both birth locations are the same. It says Ware Town, Ocean County, New Jersey. It's the same. The only difference is the two different years. However, one says about 1804, the other about 1806. Well, pertinently, the word about means approximately, so it would not be critical for me or even logical to me to create an alternate event for a birth just because the years are off by a couple of years. It's so close. I could even split hairs and type in about 1805, and it would qualify for both the records that show her in 1806 as well as records that show her as an 1804 birth year. However, her death location is different, and it's blatantly different. Her death date is the same as what's in my tree, but the record from the New Jersey Deaths and Burial Index says she died in Dover. My tree says she died in Waretown. Until I find a document that states which of the two locations is correct, I'm going to keep both information. I do not want to lose information, possibly like the Deaths and Burial Index on the left, that could be correct. In this case, I would suggest clicking alternate. I also would prefer, instead of even using an alternate, going to Harriet's profile page, scrolling down to her death event, selecting the edit button, and manually typing in the information in the description box. I typed in death location may be Dover per New Jersey Deaths and Burials Index. Once I type that and click the Save button, then on her profile page, I still have only one death event. She only died once. So in my brain, logically, I want to just see one event for a death. However, I don't know yet if Waretown is correct or if the death location of Dover is correct. I'm going to keep both pieces of information so that I don't lose what could be the correct data. I also found her in the Find a Grave index. It says her name is Harriet Camburn, which agrees. Now I have a full birth date and a birth location of Waretown. The death date's the same, and this death date says she died in Waretown. As I need to confirm what the information from Find a Grave really says, I don't recommend going to the website using the link in the upper left side. Sometimes that link does not take you right to that person's memorial page. Underneath her name, down at the very bottom, click the URL link. That will take you to Harriet's Find a Grave memorial. And here we are on Find a Grave. The person who loaded the information to Harriet's memorial really added quite a bit of information. I have a full birth and death date and location. There's quite a bit of bio here. There's information on the rest of the family. So I would have to say whoever did this memorial actually did quite a bit of research on Harriet and her family. The death location of Waretown is probably correct. However, just because she's buried in Waretown does not mean she died in Waretown. This is not enough information to prove Harriet's death location was Waretown. I still need to investigate it. It also says Harriet died 83 years, 3 months, 24 days. Well, that disagrees with the New Jersey Death Index, which I showed you a few moments ago, that said she died at 84 years, 4 months. Where did they get this information? It's on her headstone. This is a good shot of a headstone. When I zoom in, it's transcribed. It says, Harriet, wife of William Camburn, died November 7, 1888, aged 83 years, 3 months, and 24 days. This stone looks to be pre-1900. It's an old stone. So I would lean towards this particular document as being accurate, even though it's not her death certificate, more than I would the death index transcription. Now again, 83 years, 3 months, and 24 days on her headstone disagrees with what the death index transcription says. We need to pay attention to this particular document, this record uploaded to Ancestry. It is a transcription of the index. The information inside that red box was uploaded or transcribed or copied, as you may, by a person just like you or me, sitting at their home computer, going through filmings for Ancestry, volunteering to transcribe information in records so that Ancestry can upload it to their database. So therefore, they're copying it probably from the filming of the index in New Jersey, in Ocean County. Every single time a transcription is done, a copying is made from one record to another format, then you have high risk of errors being made. Were there errors made in the death location or possibly age at death? I don't know this until I look at the index itself myself to see if this particular transcription is correct. However, the index itself is also a transcription. It's probably transcribed or copied from either a death register book or a burial register book. It's an index. Possibly, or probably, the index is done on index cards. It's possible it was typed up into a database. But the index information was probably copied from the original handwritten death registers or burial register books. There is another chance, again, of risk for loss of correct information, possibly typos. Who knows? Because without looking at the index or without looking at the original death registers, we're not going to know what the original information said. And the third time that this could possibly be a transcription error is if the register books, either burial registers or death registers, were actually copied over from original death certificates. We actually don't know this until we look for a death certificate or look at the original death or burial registers. So this particular record loaded to Ancestry's database has high risk of being incorrect. We also don't know if, because Dover was the county seat, now I believe it's Toms River, it's the county seat for Ocean County when Harriet died. So her death was probably recorded in the register books for the county seat. But that does not necessarily mean Harriet died in Dover. She probably died in Waretown, where she is buried. As I save the Find a Grave record to Harriet, again, this is the screen I see. Across the top is the information from the tree. Now, down the left side, I'm going to select her birth date. It's a full birth date. I know her death date was 7 November of 88. Her headstone says 83 years, 3 months, 24 days. If you do the math backwards, her birth date really was the 14th of July, 1805. And therefore, I'm going to select that birth date. The default box that's checked with Ancestry is preferred. Therefore, it automatically overrode my about 1806 date and typed in 14 July 1805. So right now I have selected the Find a Grave record. I'm going to select her birth date. I got rid of the duplicate alternate, and now it only shows 14 July 1805 in Waretown. So her death has an alternate information in the event because I still haven't proved her death location. However, her birth is now no longer an alternate. Just she had one birth, and we firmed it up with a pretty solid date of 14 July 1805. I hope that helps explain when to use alternates and when to use preferred and what happens when you do click those actual items. I'm going to try to do some other videos on what happens when you attach records to people in Ancestry, as well as what happens when you attach it to the family members. Thank you for watching.